Hey y'all, it's Jordan Nicole and welcome back to my channel. I'm so very sorry I haven't uploaded a video in forever. I've been so busy with life and school, and I'm a lit major, so I have a lot of homework and reading and papers and everything. But I am finally over my reading slump, and I'm reading a lot more, so I actually can record videos again. Yay! So today I'm going to be doing my February wrap-up and my March TBR. So in February I only read 3 books, which is still a lot better than January because I only read 1 in January, so I'm very proud. I did read a lot of books for my adolescent literature course, but I didn't finish a lot of them. So with no further ado, I'm going to start with what I read in February. So the first book I read, I don't have with me, but I read A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness, and I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. I'm not going to get too much into it because I wrote a review on my blog, which I'll link down below. But the beginning kind of dragged a little for me, but once I got into it, there were moments that moved me to tears, and the message was so beautiful, and it's really a book you have to read going into it blind. I don't want to give it too much away, or give too much away, but the graphics and the art in it were incredible, and the story was amazing, and it had a wonderful message, and I was crying by the end of it, and I highly recommend it. So the next book was a book I read for my adolescent literature course, and I read Brown Girl Dreaming by Jacqueline Woodson, which is a story told by the use of poems. So there's so many different poems with their own titles, and they all really flowed together very nicely, and I'm not really a big fan of poetry, but I thought it worked nicely with the story. This book is about the author's life and her struggle with like civil rights and stuff like that, and the writing was beautiful, and the story was beautiful, and while I couldn't relate to the whole race thing, I could relate to like a lot of the other struggles she was struggling with during her life, and I didn't give it 5 out of 5 stars because it took me a while to get into the poetry and really connect to the poetry, but after I did, the story flowed beautifully, and the poetry really worked really well for the story the author was creating, so I highly recommend it as well. And the last book I read in February, probably my favorite book I read so far in 2017, is The Shack by W.M. Paul Young. I rated it 5 out of 5 stars, but I wish I could have gave it 1,000 out of 5 stars, because it might even be my favorite book out of all time. I know that is like very brave to say that, but it changed my perception about life and my religion and God and stuff like that, and it opened my eyes, and it made me so emotional and cry, and it made my heart so happy, and I think I'm a more spiritual person after reading it, and it made me understand things about my religion I didn't understand before, and it made me see my religion in a different way, and it was such a life-changing and moving experience, and I highly recommend it to everyone. And I'm gonna do a review on my vlog. It's definitely a book you should go into, maybe knowing a little bit, but not too much. Yeah, but once I do my review on my blog, I will link it down below. And I'm also planning on doing a book talk with all the spoilers so I can rant about it. So I'll do a video for that, and look out for that. That was all I read in February, so let's move on to what I'm planning on reading in March. So in March, I have my spring break for a whole week. In less than a week, I will have that, and I normally read a lot over spring break. I also got over my reading slump, so I have this new urge for reading, so I'm reading books a lot quicker, and I know my TBR for March is kind of ambitious, but I'm hoping I can get to all of them, and yeah. So the first book I want to read in March is Before I Fall by Lauren Oliver. So, this book has been made into a movie and is coming out in March, so I definitely want to read it before I see the movie. From what I understand, it's about a girl who relives the same day over and over again, and she gets in a car wreck, but as soon as she gets in the car wreck, the day restarts, so she can predict her and her friends getting in a car accident. And I think this idea is like really intriguing to me, and I'm looking forward to reading it and letting you know what I think, and maybe also comparing it to the movie after I see it. So yeah. The next book I'm planning on reading is Gemina by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. So Gemina is the second book in the Illuminae files, and the first book is Illuminae. So each of the books in the series follow two different characters, but they're all about this kind of battle that takes place against different like starships in space. And I love the first one, not only because of the story, but because of how it's told. It's not regular text, it's like emails and diagrams and interviews and that kind of stuff. So while it's almost 700 pages, I think I will fly through it, and I hope I love it as much as I loved Illuminae. The next book I'm planning on reading is The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak, and I'm actually having to read it for my adolescent literature course, but I've been wanting to read it for a long time, and I'm really happy I get to read it. And it's about the Holocaust and how the Nazis are burning all the books, and it's about a little girl who steals all the books to try to save them. That is what I believe from the synopsis. Yeah, and I can't wait to read it, and this will definitely be one I probably do a book talk on and a review, so look out for that. The next book I want to read is The Scorched Trials by James Dashner, which is the second book in the Maze Runner trilogy. I read the first book, The Maze Runner, a year or two ago, and I really enjoyed it, but for some reason I didn't continue on with the series. The series is about a group of boys who wake up and they're trapped in a maze and they have to figure out how to survive and get out. It's a really good series. I recommend it, and I can't wait to continue it and hopefully watch the movie after I read the book. So the next two books I want to read are in the Harry Potter series, and they're the third book, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban by J.K. Rowling, and Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, which is the fourth book. I read the first book in the series 2 years ago and the second book a year ago, but for some reason I never continued on with the series. I mean, we have a theme going on here. I loved it. I mean, I grew up watching the movies, but I never read the books, and I know I'm really behind, and it's really bad Jordan for not reading the series, but my main goal for this year is to finish the series because I love it so much, and then, yeah, so I can't wait to read those. So the next book I want to read is The Madness Underneath by Maureen Johnson, and it's the second book in the Shades of London series, and the first book was The Name of the Star. And I read that a couple or few years ago. I really enjoyed it, but again, I didn't continue on with the series. So, yeah, I really hope to get to the second book this month. But the series is about a girl goes to boarding school in London, and somebody is recreating the Jack the Ripper murders, and she's trying to figure out what's happening and what's going on, and there's also a supernatural twist in it as well. So I'm looking forward to reading that one. And then the next book that I'm wanting to read, sorry, I can't talk, I have at home, but I don't have here. So the first one I want to read is Outlander by Diana Gabaldon, which takes place in New Zealand, I believe, and it has time traveling in it and a love story. And there's also a TV series, so if I like the books, I'll eventually watch that. And I'm planning on reading that during my spring break, as long as the 2 Harry Potter books. And then I also want to finish watching. This is a book called Jordan. I want to finish reading The Unexpected Everything by Morgan Matson, which I started last summer, never finished, which is about a girl who becomes a dog walker and meets a guy, and is a contemporary romance. I've heard good things about it. And then the last book in March I want to read is the first book in the Infernal Devices series by Cassandra Clare. And the first book is Clockwork Angel, which if you've heard of the Mortal Instruments series. This book series takes place in the same world, in the Shadowhunter world, but it takes place earlier. And the recommendation from Cassandra Clare is to read the first 3 books in the Mortal Instruments series, and then read the Infernal Devices series, and then read the last 3 books in the Mortal Instruments series. So that's what I'm planning on doing. A lot of people do like the Infernal Devices series better, but I'm looking forward to see which series I like better and to immerse myself in the Shadowhunter world again. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading all that I'm wanting to read in March. I hope to get through everything. I know it's an ambitious TBR, but I have a lot of free time in March. So yeah, let me know what you're reading in March. Comment down below. Like my video if you like any of the books I'm reading. Also, comment down below if you've read anything, but no spoilers. And subscribe if you're liking my videos. And, look out for my readathon TBR video and a book haul video. And I will talk to you later. Bye. Happy reading.